Welcome back to the deep dive. When you think Minnesota, it's probably, lakes, cabins, maybe that Minnesota nice thing.
Sure, land of 10,000 lakes.
Exactly. But what if I told you there's this chilling undercurrent,
Hmm.
a deeper, darker side where the past just won't stay buried?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today, to pull back the curtain on Minnesota's most haunted places.
Yeah.
We're talking everything. Historic asylums, grand old mansions with tragic pasts, even places you wouldn't expect like breweries or riverboats.
That's right. We've gathered a pretty fascinating stack of sources here. Historical accounts, lots of local legends, detailed reports from paranormal investigations.
They're quite a mix.
Definitely. And the goal is to sift through all this, pull out the key insights, the surprising facts, so you walk away really understanding Minnesota's spectral landscape. Not just informed, but, well-versed.
And trust me, it's a side of the state that will absolutely grab you. We're going to dig into some really intriguing history, layer on those spine-tingling accounts, and explore why these stories stick around, all without getting bogged down. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So let's start where human suffering, well, it's left a really palpable imprint. These historic institutions. First stop, Anoka State Hospital.
Ah, yes, Minnesota's first mental hospital.
Yeah.
Late 1800s.
Right. And by the mid-1920s, the conditions were, frankly, just horrific.
Yeah.
Our sources paint this grim picture: over 1,000 patients, dirty beds, restraints, neglect.
It sounds awful.
And then the treatments. Brutal experimental stuff, like lobotomies, electroshock therapy.
Oh, man.
So when you hear about places just saturated with that level of despair and trauma, does that tend to create a specific kind of haunting?
Absolutely. That's a great question. What's really striking about places like Anoka is, well, it's often not just general spookiness. We tend to see a direct link between the type of suffering and the phenomena reported.
Okay.
That sheer, prolonged despair, the hopelessness, the neglect, it's almost like that intense emotional energy gets imprinted onto the building itself.
Imprinted, like an echo.
Exactly. It can manifest as residual hauntings where events seem to replay, like a recording. Or sometimes intelligent hauntings may be fueled by that unresolved anguish. Think about the suicides, the escape attempts through tunnels mentioned in the sources. That desperation leaves a heavy footprint.
An emotional footprint. Wow, that makes sense. And that brings us to Nopaming Sanatorium near Duluth, another site of just immense suffering.
Right, the TB sanatorium.
From 1912, it housed over 1,000 tuberculosis patients, a disease that meant, prolonged illness, often very lonely death.
A slow decline for many.
But Nopaming also had this sudden horrific violence,
Right.
like the Mother's Day Massacre. Patient John Wintoniak shot an orderly, then himself.
Terrible.
And they even had a suicide balcony, apparently without a barrier, where patients jumped. So you have this contrast, right? Slow suffering and then sudden violent trauma.
It truly is stark, and Nopaming is a prime example of how these different layers of tragedy can coexist in one place, and they might influence the type of paranormal activity people report. Well, the residual echoes, maybe, from countless patients slowly dying from TB that could account for the growls, moans, disembodied cries people hear.
Okay, the background noise of suffering.
Sort of. But then the sudden, violent stuff, the massacre, the suicides from the balcony that could fuel a more active, maybe aggressive, intelligent haunting. Spirits that are conscious, interacting, perhaps stuck, replaying their trauma. It's a very complex, energetic environment.
A complex, energetic environment. Yeah, you can almost feel it. It makes you wonder how much those walls absorb. Okay, so from these echoes of suffering, let's shift gears. Let's head to the bustling Twin Cities. Urban legends, iconic spots, but with their own chilling secrets.
Right.
Let's start with First Avenue in Minneapolis. Legendary concert venue, hosted everybody.
Absolutely iconic.
But before the music, it was a Greyhound bus station. And that's where one of his most famous spirits comes from. Sources talk about a blonde woman.
The story is she hung herself in the women's bathroom, right, after her partner didn't come back from the war.
Yeah, exactly. So tragic.
Truly heartbreaking. And what's interesting there, host, is the very specific way she's reportedly seen.
Like how?
Dancing without legs, sometimes in a green army jacket, or as a bloated apparition. These details are often significant.
Why is that?
They often point to a direct connection between the trauma, the hanging, the physical suffering, and how the spirit manifests. It's not just a vague presence. It's specific, unsettling details tied to the moment of death.
Wow. Tied to the trauma itself. But then you also hear about other stuff at First Avenue, things that seem less tragic, maybe more mischievous.
Oh,
or just disruptive.
right, like the cold spots, the voices.
Yeah, DJs hearing growls, this spirit slippy, making balloons float around, equipment malfunctioning. That feels different from the blonde woman.
Precisely. And that suggests a spectrum of phenomena, even in one place. The blonde woman might be more residual, tied to her tragic end, replaying parts of it. But the mischievous stuff, the object manipulation, the tech glitches, that sounds more like an intelligent haunting. Spirits that are aware, maybe playful, maybe frustrated, actively engaging with the place now.
So a busy, vibrant place like a concert venue can just collect different energetic imprints over time.
Exactly. It accumulates layers of history and energy.
Okay, that definitely broadens the picture.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about a story that's just grim. Minneapolis City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
This place holds a really dark memory from 1898. The botched hanging of John Moshik, convicted of murder.
Ah, yes. The execution went horribly wrong.
Horribly. On the 5th floor, he suffered for 3 full minutes. Slow strangulation. It was so brutal they never hanged anyone there again.
Unbelievable.
That kind of drawn-out, agonizing death.
Mm-hmm.
How might that affect the spirit's imprint?
Well, that kind of intense, prolonged suffering at the moment of death is often believed to leave a particularly strong, sometimes volatile, energetic signature. Yeah, it's not just the fear, but the agony. It can cause a spirit to remain very strongly tied to the place. The sources mention his mood swings, right?
Yeah, like rearranging pictures one minute, then making judges and attorneys seriously ill the next.
Yes. That suggests an intelligent haunting. One perhaps fueled by anger, confusion, maybe even a desire for justice or revenge, even centuries later. The spirit isn't just there, it's actively, sometimes aggressively interacting.
Chilling. Okay, across the river in St. Paul, Four Paws Restaurant. Now, it's closed, but it was this elegant Victorian mansion.
Built by Joseph Forepaugh, the businessman.
Right. But behind that romantic facade, a really tragic love story. Joseph had an affair with his maid, Molly.
Mm-hmm. His wife found out.
Yeah. He ended it, moved away. And Molly, who was pregnant, hung herself on the 3rd floor.
So tragic. And Joseph himself committed suicide later on.
They did, in the 1890s. So this isn't like systemic suffering or a public execution. This is intensely personal. Passion, heartbreak, betrayal.
And that's exactly why Forepaws is so fascinating. It highlights how powerful personal emotions, love, betrayal, shame, despair, can also leave an incredibly strong, enduring mark.
So different source, same intensity.
Pretty much. We see reports of both Joseph and Molly like they're reviving their lost love, walking together. Molly's apparently very active, banging walls, smashing glasses. People smell her lavender perfume.
Wow.
While Joseph is described as more mischievous, moving things, cold spots. These are classic signs of intelligent hauntings. Spirits still tied to their earthly lives, their passions. Maybe trying to resolve unfinished business, or just stuck in that emotional intensity. It's a haunting born from broken hearts.
A haunting born from broken hearts. That's powerful.
Okay.
Let's broaden out again. Let's look at some of Minnesota's more surprising, maybe unique, haunted spots. Because ghosts aren't just in mansions and asylums, right?
Definitely not.
We're starting underground.
Yeah.
The Webashaw Street Caves in St. Paul.
Ah, the caves. They've been everything, haven't they?
Totally. Mushroom farm, storage, then a 1930s nightclub. A safe spot for gangsters like John Dillinger.
Right. The gangster connection is strong there.
And the legend is pretty gritty. 3 gangsters supposedly shot dead inside, but their bodies vanished before the cops arrived. Just bullet holes left in the walls.
Wild. And what's remarkable about the caves is how the environment itself is often cited in the hauntings.
How do you mean?
Well, tour guides apparently describe the whistling and footsteps as just normal background noise there. And there's this belief that the cold, damp cave environment actually empowers the ghosts.
Empowers them, like charges them up.
Something like that. It touches on the theory that certain environmental conditions, temperature, geology, maybe enclosed spaces might act as conduits or amplifiers for spirit energy.
Oh, interesting.
And given the history with gangsters whose lives were often intense and violent, it makes sense that any unfinished business might feel amplified in that unique setting.
So the cave air itself could be charged. Okay.
Yeah.
From caves to beer. The Schmidt Brewery in St. Paul.
Another place built on caves, actually, 1855.
Right, the original cave opening is still visible. Reports of cold breezes, eerie sounds from down there. But the real action seems tied to worker deaths.
Yeah, industrial sites often have those tragic stories.
Sources mention 2 killed in an explosion in 1896. A cooper falling down an unmarked elevator shaft in 1902. People supposedly hear a shouting man.
Oh, wow.
But the most active spirit is apparently Matthew Kohler. In 1904, the story goes, he set himself on fire, burned alive.
That's horrific.
And investigators claim they've caught recordings of him saying his name Matt and saying he's a fireman.
Now, that is a powerful example. Industrial accidents, violent, agonizing deaths, they can create really potent hauntings. What makes Matt so compelling are those specific, verifiable details. His name, his occupation.
Right. It's not just a random noise.
Exactly. It moves beyond general activity to something deeply personal, an intelligent haunting, where the spirit seems to be directly communicating. And the idea of him saying he's a fireman after dying by fire, that's incredibly poignant. Maybe a last confused thought, or an echo of his identity. It adds weight to the anecdotes. Suggests a persistent consciousness tied to a very tragic end.
Those details really stick with you. Okay, now for something completely different. Water. The Jonathan Paddleford Mississippi Riverboat.
Ah, the riverboat.
Popular tour boat now, but it carries this dark story. A man apparently climbed to the top of the pilot house, fell into the river, and drowned.
And the reports?
Visitors and staff repeatedly see him climb and fall again. They hear footsteps, a scream, a big splash. When nobody's there, it sounds like a loop, like a tragic replay.
It absolutely does. That's a classic example of a residual haunting, but playing out on a very dynamic stage, a riverboat.
Right, it's not a fixed building.
Exactly. The boat moves, but the event seems imprinted, replaying like a film loop for people who are sensitive to it. The shock and finality of his fall and drowning must have left such a deep impression that it just keeps playing out. The fact that multiple people witness it, often unexpectedly, points to a strong, consistent, energetic echo.
A residual haunting on water. Fascinating.
Okay.
Let's head to Sauk Center, the Palmer House Hotel. Built in 1901 after the previous hotel burned down.
And this place has a serious reputation, one of America's most haunted, some say.
Totally. It's like a paranormal hotspot. We hear about all sorts of things. A rumored man connected to a top-floor brothel, a phantom cat jumping on beds.
He's running in the halls.
Flickering lights, orbs in the basement, and then really unnerving stuff, like a story about claw marks appearing on a guest's back after they talked about religion.
Whoa. That's intense.
Right. Plus, a little boy who died from the flu, seen playing with a ball.
Yeah.
Even maybe the ghost of Sinclair Lewis, the author, who's from Sauk Center. It's like a greatest hits collection of hauntings.
It really sounds like an energetic hotspot. The Palmer House shows that incredible diversity of phenomena that can converge in one location, especially one with a long, varied history, multiple potential tragedies like that fire.
Yeah.
You've got residual energy, the cat, the kids running. You've got potentially intelligent spirits that clawmark stories suggest something highly interactive, maybe even malevolent. And celebrity specters, too. Makes you wonder if certain locations just inherently draw and hold on to energy more effectively, like a spectral magnet.
A spectral magnet, I like that. Okay, finally, let's go somewhere really different. Gray Cloud Island in Washington County.
Ah, the island with all the burial mounds.
Exactly. The highest concentration in the U.S., some are estimated to be 2,000 years old.
Yeah.
And the place is just rife with weird phenomena.
Like what?
Phantom white trucks chasing drivers off the island.
Yeah.
Strange green orbs, people say, are Chief Great Cloud's lantern. A screaming lady in the cemetery. A transparent motorcyclist. A woman weeping for her baby. It feels less like individual ghosts and more like the land itself is charged.
You've hit on a really crucial point there. Gray Cloud Island is a profound example of how ancient history and reverence for the land can contribute to this powerful sense of lingering energy.
Because of the mounds.
The presence of those sacred burial mounds, some millennia old, suggests this deep connection to ancestral spirits, a long history of intense human emotion tied to that specific place. The phenomena reported the orbs linked to the chief, the weeping woman, often seem tied to a protective energy or maybe unresolved grief spanning generations.
So it's not just about buildings.
Not at all. It's a reminder that hauntings can be about the very earth itself, holding on to its stories, its original inhabitants, with immense power.
So if we connect all this, this bigger picture, these incredibly diverse places, mental hospitals, concert halls, ancient burial grounds, river boats, it really shows that hauntings aren't just in those classic spooky places we expect.
Exactly. They seem to appear wherever human stories unfolded with enough intensity, tragic or grand, to leave a mark.
It suggests any place where life was lived intensely, loved intensely, or lost intensely could become a kind of beacon for something to linger.
Yeah. Regardless of its typical reputation, it really challenges our ideas of what makes a place haunted.
So what does this all mean? You've just taken this whirlwind deep dive through Minnesota's spectral side. From those sorrowful institutions in the haunted Twin Cities to the most unexpected corners.
Quite a tour.
You've uncovered this incredible range of haunted places, different types of spirits, all sorts of phenomena. You are now incredibly well informed about the spooky side of the land of 10,000 lakes.
And beyond just the chills, these stories are powerful echoes of history, unresolved emotions, the indelible marks left by people's lives. They really invite us to think about what lingers after we're gone and why certain places seem to hold on to those energies so tightly.
Maybe the true ghosts aren't just the apparitions we hear about. Maybe they're the stories themselves, living on in our collective memory, asking us to remember, to question, and maybe, just maybe, to feel that little thrill as we walk through the world, wondering what unseen history might be hiding just around the corner.